One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to Romeo High School. Just about underway here in some more NISA action as we test our audio levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You got me over there? You want me to keep going? Keep going? Welcome back, everyone, to Romeo High School. Jeremy Otto to bring the call here today. The Stars looking for their first win of this fall season here today. Second home game as they face Stumptown AC on a hot and humid day in Metro Detroit here today. Good?
see it. afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, and welcome to Romeo High School, where this afternoon your Michigan Stars FC play host to the Stumptown FC in NISA soccer action. Here are the officials for tonight's soccer match. The head referee, Kyle Johnston. Assistant ref number 1, Samuel Pizzamenti. Assistant ref number 2, Conlin Campbell. And our fourth official, Jacob Little. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Active military and veterans may keep your caps on while rendering the military salute. As 13-year-old Blue Sky Riley honors America with the singing of our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets sprinkling, the bombs bursting in, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner o'er the land of the free, and the heart of the
Welcome everyone to Barnable Field, just about underway here in this fine matchup today versus the Michigan Stars and Stumptown AC. Hot and muggy here in the Metro Detroit area. It's been that way for a couple weeks, can't really get away from it, and certainly with a 3:30 kick here today, it's going to be something where you definitely might see a water break or two throughout the match. But getting ready for what's hopefully, it has to be, the first win for one of these two teams here today, coming in at 0-2 to begin this fall slate. And obviously something a bit different about this fall campaign than the spring and some of the other ones we've seen so far in NISA, really since COVID hit. It's much longer. You have 9 home games and 9 road games, so the table takes a few more games before it's decided. I mean, we were talking about it last spring and how much certainly each home game and each game meant during that slate, because there wasn't a lot of games to be had. But these two teams looking to start it on the right foot here today as we near the midpoint of August. For Stumptown AC, they lost 3-1 to Chattanooga FC on the 7th of August, and most recently a loss just 1-0 versus Chicago House AC. That was at home for them, kind of a home road split in each of their games so far. The same is true for the Stars. They lost a back-and-forth game. 7 goals combined here at Romeo High School on August 7th. It was a 4-3 final score in favor of the Cal United Strikers in the end. And then their last game, we're up 1-0 early on and really throughout until the 87th minute. 1904 FC able to tie up the game, and then just a couple minutes later before regulation expired, able to get goal number 2, 2-1. Stars were playing a man down by the time things were set and done because of the double yellow/red card. So that is where these two teams stack up heading into today. Starting keepers on each side for the Stars. It's Tatenda Mukruva, mainstay in this uniform for the home squad. Kevin Gonzalez gets the opportunity on the other end for Stumptown AC. As far as the rest of the men out there, Stephen Yunchai starts up front. Kyle Newell out there with him with Leon Marich, a brand new player to the Stars roster of late. Suhetsky, Satrusteri, Chalbo, Frank Snyder, and Amu Mensa behind him. As for Stumptown AC, they have Reese Williams, Bay Kurtz, Travis Ward, Deshaun Nembard, Nicholas Ampancha, Colin Stripling, Frankie Martinez, and Giovanni Navia out to start surrounding their keeper, Kevin Gonzalez, here today. There is a slight breeze kind of blowing left to right to begin this, but it's a game time temperature of 84 degrees. Probably won't cool off much as we head towards the latter part of this game. Stumptown AC looking to kick things off quickly here. It's Chunga who barrels his way into the near corner. And an early throw-in from the near side here by the visitors. Looking to establish this tempo right away. Both of these teams looking for their first win of the fall season. Stars struggle to kind of finish off games in the spring. Much like their last game, they got early leads, but weren't able to kind of fight off those late rallies, and a lot of them were in extra time. The goals, that is. It's a back line that's been together for a while now. Missing James Abraham here today, a big loss. He is yet to play in this fall season. But Amu Mensa has been a mainstay. Chalbo has been a mainstay in the starting lineup of recent. As they look to continue to gel going forward and hopefully get their first win here today. Mukruva has come back fairly strong from that suspension as well of a couple games. Kyle Newell charging from that far side. 1 goal for him thus far off a couple shots in this fall season. Certainly a guy that can play everywhere. Talked about it really at the end of the spring season. A guy that is also pretty talented and maybe more of his natural position is defense, but has been a key man up top at times for this Stars team. Really nice distributor over the last year. Amuensa sees that one ride its way back to Mukruva as he puts a big right foot into it. Rising up is Apancha. And a quick whistle. It's going to go against the Stars. We'll give it back to Stumptown here on a set piece. Jeremy Otto to bring the call. So glad you could tune in on this Saturday. Second home game for the Stars here today. Certainly a lot of bookings in their last contest. Seems like these home games have been pretty physical, no matter who they play. Little slotting pass, back up the middle, looking for the header out in front. No luck, and flustered with himself that he couldn't get a better piece. How about that run by Stripling down the middle there? or check that, Travis Ward. Amumensa wheels it out again to Snyder. He wants Yunshai, trying to quickly slot it to Leon Mirich. Played up top with Kyle Newell the past couple games. Merritt's 23 years of age, out of Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania. Adu. Back around for Carl Snyder once again. Amumensa, the captain, slots it back to the right, and this back line will distribute the ball. They've really been a constant for this Stars team, even when they've at times struggled to score goals. The back line has kept them in games, certainly. Obviously, of recent, you had the 4 goals given up in game number 1 of this fall season. And then just 2 very late in the last contest. I'm sure they'd like to strike first to set the tempo here at home. Coming out aggressively there is Kevin Gonzalez as he's able to catch it just outside of his own box here. Sees that one roll out. And Reese Williams will go ahead and chuck it in here. A lot of pressure early on by Stumptown AC within the first 5-10 seconds of this contest. We're really forcing the issue and looking to get that first opportunity of the game. Here in the 6th minute, Stars looking to back off a little bit. Chunga, along with Garcia Sosa, making it tough for Tatenda to get it upfield here. Off the right side, Snyder looking to swim his way around. It's Garcia Sosa that pounds it as Tatenda will spiral that one right on the lap of Reese. He is tripped up and fouled here on the near sideline. It's another set piece upcoming for Stumptown. It's Leon Mirich trying to force the issue here on the near side. Tatenda going to have to come out and stop that one to the right side on the U for Bulldogs here, playing at Romeo High School. Facility for the Stars still being completed. The turf has been laid down, but still need the lights and the stands and everything that goes around with it as well. Hope that that is complete sometime soon, but most likely the whole fall slate will be played here at Romeo High School. Not too far away from where the new facility is laying ground. Gonzalez with a decent punch. Kurtz along the near sideline and able to move that one forward. Here is Mukruva again. Plays a little catch with Carl Snyder. He's been a mainstay on this back line. The veteran of sorts, age-wise, 28 years old, 5'10", 165 pounds. He started both games here in the fall season for the Stars. Played in nearly every minute of action. Very tactical player. Certainly clear as soon as he got here to this team. That's how he likes to operate. Adu dashing move, gets his way by along that right side. Marich had a piece of it, stomping on that ball is Stripling though. He's going to spread it back out for Williams as Stumptown AC really continues to win the possession game here early on. 9th minute of action of this one here. Nice through pass here, Reese Williams. Piping it to the corner, catching up, and swimming that one wide is Garcia Sosa. As he will watch it fly to the left of that far corner flag here. The Stars with the throw, not able to generate much on their left side, the attacking half for them here in the first half. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover kind of seeping in from the left side of the stadium here, but it's a sun-soaked day, and certainly on the turf it makes it feel a bit hotter for all these guys. Blowing a tire, and it looks like they're going to get the Stars as a guilty party there. Their second foul in the last 5 minutes or so. And trying to plead his case here is Suhetsky on the far side. Immediate reaction really from all the Stars after that play went down. And they decide to go short with it here. Ward down the middle. Spins it to the corner to Sosa once again. Poked its way free. Another physical play up top, but the men in blue will keep it. Blue and white, the color scheme here today for Stumptown AC. Curving ball forward, he's onside, pipes it back up, and Murkruva reaches those big athletic hands out and makes sure it stays away from their defensive goal line here. Well, a play that really developed fast on that right side for Stumptown AC. Only question was it going to be onside or offside? And they kept the ball where they needed to. So I get a second look at our monitor here. Really nice lunging opportunity for Mukruva to control play there. To Tenda. Swerves it down that right side. It's Nembar who got a subtle piece of it. The Stars looking to force the issue here. Pipe free for just a second. Satrustra got a piece, and instead that ends up on a play. So Stumptown to keep it. It's been that way pretty much all match thus far. Plays just like that. Have not been successful at hanging on to the ball. That's Alex Frank who gets one of his first touches here today. Another newcomer of sorts. He was with the Stars team in 2020 before he had to have a couple hip surgeries. He kind of remained in Michigan at that point to do physical therapy, but a tough time, not knowing what would happen with the border. So he ended up heading home, back to his family in France, just to be safe. Guy that has other NISA experience as well with Atlanta very early on in the league's history. The Stars happy to have him back as of now, stepping right into a starting role for this team. Making just subtle refinements over the last couple of years on this roster since flipping pro. Newell dancing on the far sideline here. Slots it down the middle. Carl Snyder in the area. Snyder going to lurk. Two charging bodies on him. Frees up some space down the middle. Thinks about the shot down the middle for the pass in the end. A couple guys around it. Maric closest to the football that time, but no luck. One touch by Satrustri down to the right side and picked off once again by Chunga as Stumptown will settle it down. You can see the Stars kind of subtly working up to a bit more offense here in the first half. Been fairly dominated by Stumptown AC so far if you're just tuning in. They've had a couple decent possessions. Mukruva has been challenged once to make a save. Snyder will spread it along the back line here. Amu Mensah with him. Amu Mensah behind him as well. All those guys have played all 180 minutes leading up to this point of NISA action here in the fall. Amu Mensah's kind of always been the head of the defense, the main communicator, holding the group together. Garcia Sosa, 50 yards out from the goal here. Navia, but that is ruled offside, and Mukruva will come and make the play anyway. So unlike that play where we saw tend to come out and get a piece of the ball, that one whistled away. Newell says thank you, wins possession back in the midfield here. Snyder, back to Kyle now. Stars suddenly moving up. There's two players to the right of midfield, and that's going to change right around now as Amu Mensah is inching his way towards the 18. Good pass to the right, ends up flipping out of play. Yunchai in the area. Satrustri as well. But instead it will go back to Stumptown on a goal kick here. Kevin Gonzalez hasn't been too active thus far. Came out aggressively earlier within the first 5 minutes of the match. Sees that one flip out of play. And Chabot will send this one back in. Chabot, the native of Valencia, Venezuela. Some good international flair on the Stars roster. Zimbabwe, Ghana, Spain, Venezuela, France. All represented just in the starting core. Snyder. Often forward to Mensah now. Chipped the other way. Satrustri getting the dirty work here. Stripling did strip that ball there as he got it loose and free for Kurtz and company. Kurtz pounding it for Williams. Amu Mensah is back. Just a little subtle touch, and that's enough to get it off to the active Mukruva here. We'll see him 20, 30 yards out of the goal on the regular. Trying to make something happen for his team. Talked about it in the past. At times it's to his fault, but most of the time his aggressiveness pays off after they kind of hemmed him in. Stripling wants Kurtz here. Swings it off for Apansa as they continue to look for the right option here. So the offense has lessened for Stumptown FC. A lot more play here in the midfield. Credit to the Stars for keeping possession a bit longer. Just have not been able to get those sustained chunks down the field here today. Another 3:30 start, second time it's been the case, and that will be the case for all these home games here at Romeo. Most of our spring slates started around 7 Eastern time. Yunchai chugging his way up the field, shadowed by Hoskins, or Williams, I beg your pardon, as he sees it fly out. And again, the men in blue will sniff this possession out. 19th minute of action here, still looking for our first tally of the contest. Both these two teams looking for their first win in the NISA fall slate. No better opportunity than today. Kurtz stomped on that possession. It's Williams who's been very eventful here today. A lot of touches for him. Stripling fends off Satrustri as they wheel it around. Apancha up the right side, looking to punch it towards Mukruva here, and that slides right into that big right paw as he'll look to pound it down the right side now. Newell is edging his way up. Navia going to give it right back to the Stars here. Snyder. Back to Frank. Noggins it once again to Mukruva. He's been very active of late here. To Tenda. Flat sputtering ball over the top here to Maric. Fights it off for Newell. Those two have been working together for the past couple games to start this fall slate. Williams will again distribute it around here. Nearing the midway point in your first half of action. See if we won't see a water break here at some point. One of those scorching days where you wouldn't be surprised to see it. Offside for the second time in as many tries here. More often than not, they've tried to go over the top just like that. It's worked a couple times. It created probably their best opportunity of the day. Mukruva was there to meet it, though, as he is now adjusting his equipment there. Took his cleat off. So he had something stuck in that right shoe. Amu Mensah. And actually the officials are going to pause play for him here. Took the glove off. Cleats good. Gloves are back on and ready to play on once again here in 22nd minute of action. Momentum's like, can I go? Now we can. Spirals it across for Newell. Got a chest on it. Aggressive cut for him. Looking to slot it towards the goal. But again, Kevin Gonzalez is there to stomp it out. Well, Kyle Newell, dangerous as always. Scored some big goals in the first year that the Stars went pro in 2020. Gonzalez has been a good answer so far today. Off the back of Kurtz, trying to keep it in play, does just that. Nobody waiting out in front with free real estate there. Travis Ward the closest to the ball, but it was actually Newell who goes coast to coast and wheels that back on out. Stumptown still lurking outside of the 18 here. Circling ball out in front, and once again Kevin Gonzalez is going to wrap it up. Spirals it to the left side over the head of Yunchai, looking to get a mini leap in front of us here. We're positioned just to the right of midfield today at Barnabo Field in Romeo, Michigan, the home of the Romeo Bulldogs. Frank quickly gains it back. Suhetsky along that left side. Yunchai onside. Rolls his way to the end line. Sparks it back out in front. And the pass a little off target. Oh boy. One of the best lurking opportunities going forward for the Stars ends up in nothing. They will keep it on the far side. Charging one deep there, and the header will ride wide. A lot going through Suhetsky out in front of late. Amu Mensah, boy, basketball leap at midcourt there. Showing his athleticism, that leader of this defense. 6 foot tall, 180-pound native of Naperville, Illinois. And because of that effort, he will also draw a foul here and kick this one forward. That's only the second foul against Stumptown here today. The Stars have 4. None very close, even to the 18 at this point. So not a lot of great opportunities off those free kicks. Stumptown has sent a good amount just short. Another foul, making number 5 on the Stars now. Will allow them to swerve it around. Stripling. Garcia Sosa hounded here on the near sideline. Suhetsky, and now Newell from the backside. It's Gonzalez. It looks to clear some of this pressure. Stars definitely getting loose a bit more as we venture towards the second half. 27th minute of action, still looking for our first goal, and some pleasantries being shared on this right side. Chunga and Joseph Adu jawing. And your head referee today, Carl Johnston, will address that with Chunga. Johnston in the green here today. Stars would love to make this effort that they've been putting together of late mean something on the board. Coming off another tough loss where they gave up 2 very late goals. Back-to-back losses once again to begin this fall slate. Same is true for Stumptown AC. Apancha off for Williams. He wants to reset to Kevin Gonzalez now. Right to the back, and Stumptown not completely happy about that call. Rob Underwood raises both arms up, the head coach on the bench for Stumptown. And actually they're going to correct it and give it to the visitors here today. So he's a bit more calm after that ruling. Chalbo. A little turnaround and fire here. Nembard stomps it down and swerves it back. Stripling right through, and nobody in the right area at the right time. Chunga the closest to the ball there as Tatenda gladly keeps it. 0-0 start to this one. Approaching the last 15 minutes or so of this first half. At this point, shouldn't be a lot of stoppage time. We saw a minute and a half or so of Tatenda McGruver on the Stars goal trying to adjust his equipment. But other than that, haven't been a lot of clear stoppages to play. Amu Mensah off a line. Circling under it, Maric again. Maric gives and goes to the goal. He flies, but that one is punched out of play by Apancha. Nice lurking presence in the back line here today for Stumptown AC. Stars kind of chipping away. Play here, play there. Gotten better at not giving the ball up as much down the stretch here in the first half. A big throw coming here, though. Can they do something with this opportunity right on the edges of their own attacking 18? Newell starts right in front. Now he cuts to the end line here. He's got it. Back out in front. And this is going to harmlessly skedaddle to the near side. Good effort on the end line by both sides. It stays in place somehow. Still juggling there. And they rule goal kick as those two still go at it. Hotly contested game of late. Alex Frank looking to make something for the Stars offense. And it looks like we'll have a water break here. Tightly contested first half of play. Tatenda McGruver again is going to come over to the near sideline and adjust his cleats. Not sure exactly what's happening there. A couple shots off target for the Stars thus far, just one for Stumptown. You have not had a corner kick thus far. Fouls 4-2 in favor of the Stars. Jeremy Otto to bring the call here today. So glad he could tune in. Some other action in NISA. A whole slate of games happening tonight. Most of them kicking off later. Eastern time, 7:30. It's Detroit City FC and 1904 FC. Chattanooga FC will take on the Maryland Bobcats, also starting at 7:30 Eastern. Matchup in Chicago featuring Chicago House and New Amsterdam will kick off at 8:30. And then on the West Coast, the LA Force will take on fellow California squad Cal United Strikers. The table to this point, again, we talked about it right at the top of the show. A lot of games to be had compared to other seasons in NISA. 19 total for all these two teams, kind of split, or 18 I should say, split between home and road evenly. 1904 FC out to a 2-0 start. Cal United has a draw to this point. They're 0-1-0. Detroit City FC, the other local team here in Michigan, out to a 1-0 start. New Amsterdam 1-1-0, and then everybody else with just one game in hand after that. I take that back. 6 points. I was looking at the the home win, draw, loss column. So 2-0-0 for 1904 FC, 1-1 for Cal United, 1-1 as well for DCFC, 1-1 for New Amsterdam. All those teams with 4, with the exception of 1904 FC with 6 points at the top. And then after that is Chattanooga FC, 1-0-1. They're tied with Chicago House AC, who both have 3 points coming into play tonight. So the water break is done. Stars continually seeing a few better opportunities as this game has gone on. Kyle Newell trying to draw a few opportunities. We saw Yoon Chai up the near sideline about 10 minutes ago in game action. A workhorse thus far for Stumptown FC, Reese Williams, the defender who's done a little bit of everything, Luis Garcia Sosa, and Chunga have also been very involved offensively. They make the last second adjustments here. And in the end, Kevin Gonzalez will play it first out of the break. Kurtz lost a handle on it. This one swimming off of Amu Mensah's head here. Now Adu. All the original bodies on the field here to start this game for both teams. It's Mugruva, Adu, Yunchai, Newell, Suhetsky, Satrusteri, Chalbo, Frank, Schneider, Maric, and Mensah for the Stars. Gonzalez, Kurtz, Williams, Garcia, Sosa, Chunga, Ward, Nembard, Apancha, Stripling, Martinez, and Baharno Navia out there for Stumptown AC. There's Kurtz. He wants Williams up the right side. Has him, looking to send it on over to Travis Ward. Wasn't quite ready. And right in his grill all the way home was Andres Chalbo. And in the end, it just ends up out of play. I feel like a lot of plays like that have worked that way recently. Just that second level of offense hasn't really been there for either team as this half has leveled off. We saw a very aggressive play early on by Stumptown AC, getting some decent opportunities and at least putting a lot of pressure on this Stars team. They own the possession of this game for the first 10 minutes. Newell fights it on back to midfield here. Frank, who's been fairly quiet thus far. He has an assist and 3 shots on goal through all the minutes of this fall season thus far. Came in playing all 180. Can add 35 to that now. Snyder wheels it on back again to Mrukruva. Puts a charge into it up for Maric. Signals it to the near side, and that one is going to stay with the Stars. Have not really gotten the benefit of a lot of those plays thus far. Carl Snyder to do the honors here as the Stars arrange their personnel to the liking here. Gonzalez communicating with his front line, and that one punched hard off the back heel of Frank. Loose down the middle, Chunga trying to get a piece. Adu instead redirects it, And a chuck for Gonzalez. Surrounds that well. Kurtz offside as Mukruva ends up picking it up. Last 3 or 5 runs have ended up just like that for Stumptown AC. They got one just barely onside here on the near side, but that ended up probably in the best offensive opportunity for them in a long time. Snyder centers it off for Amu Mensah once again. Suhetsky as the Stars play catch here. Back over the top, and rolling off the back is Kevin Gonzalez there. And the possession shifts to the visitors here. That's a big body, and Leon Merritt strong. Built well. Not going to give a big lane for Kevin Gonzalez as those two fought for what was a critical play as time winds down in half number 1. The pressure is there. This is kind of what it felt like early on the flip side. The Stars right in the grill of these attacking players on the other end. Chunga, one touch for himself forward, didn't work out. Pounded well by Mukruva. Surrounding it once again is Newell. Looking to leave it off for Satrustri. No luck. And here comes Stumptown. Stop, drop, and roll for them. Tumbling his way to the middle of the field. Another foul goes against the Stars. This one probably the closest we've seen to the goal thus far. Navia taking a tumble. And he'll get the honors here. Amu Mensah noggins it back towards midfield here. Yunchai in the area. Couldn't poke it free. Now Williams wants Kurtz. And they'll center it off to Martinez now. Martinez, the captain out there. Where's number 22? Mukruva sliding, bodies flying. It's been the case lately here. Amu Mensah, or Adu, I beg your pardon, on the backside of that play defensively for the Stars as well. And they'll win the possession here. Do they have a couple more charges in them before the end of this first half? You'd like to see it if you're a Stars fan here. They scored in the 30th minutes of their last contest. They ended up losing 2-1 in the end. A literal shootout in the game in their first contest, 4-3 loss to Cal United. In the Cal United game, they scored very early as well, just the second minute of it. Zachary Reynolds buried one. Then Maric in the 16th minute, assisted by Frank. Cal United added one in the 40th minute, just before halftime, or after halftime, I beg your pardon. The Strikers able to tie it up 2-2 after a yellow. Took a 3-2 lead in the 60th minute. The Stars able to level things back out. Yunchai scoring his first of the fall, 76th minute, and then again another late goal deciding the fate of the Stars in the 87th minute for Cal United as they rolled to a 4-3 victory in the end. Mukruva. Amu Mensah ponders. He wants his keeper once again in the orange penny here today. Circles free possibly for Frank. Didn't take advantage though. Garcia Sosa does as they pocket it around. Travis Ward against Kyle Newell. 11 versus 10 battle here. Ward speeds his way by. Last couple minutes of this second half. Looking for a opportunity out there, but Mukruba will watch it roll by. He settles for another goal kick. Two to one, the shots off target. There has not been one on goal thus far tallied today. 5-2 the fouls. Have not seen a corner or any bookings thus far. Quite a few yellows for both sides in the Stars' last game. Williams. Uchai right in front of him. Here's Navia once again, turning it back down the middle. Stripling finds Navia. Flop to the far side and offside again. Number 4 of this first half for Stumptown AC. These coaches still sticking with their same 11 all throughout this first half. I'm sure you'll see maybe a few more changes in the second half. And they're going to add 2 minutes to the clock here. Not a lot of stoppages. We did have that water break, but I believe they stopped time at that point. So can either side take advantage of this? Williams lost it, but it's still staying with the men in blue here. Throws it over the top. Found its way out. Same results. Garcia Sosa. Boy, tough battle there. Amu Mensah really physical out there, bodying up. Chunga stays with it. Chunga against Uchai now. Swivels to his right. Poked it back out, but Tentenda Mukruva again is the rock. Hugging the near post. Forces the issue as Maric tried to speed his way right to left. Both these teams feeling the urgency here of this first half. 2 minutes, got to be close to expiring at this point here. Suhetsky wheels it on back. A bomb for Yunchai. Steve stops at home. Dancing to the left here. And pounded off a knee as Stumptown takes advantage, and that will be the end of half number 1. Just 2 minutes of stoppage time here, and these two teams played to a draw. The second half coming up shortly. Don't go anywhere. Should be a good finish. Well, the Stars, the first team out of the locker room here in the second half. Stumptown taking a few extra moments. Try to cool off. 84-degree day, but very muggy. It's kind of how it's been this whole week in the Metro Detroit area thus far. These two teams playing to a 0-0 draw in that first half. Let's see what the second half presents. Already talked kind of at length what the Stars have faced so far in this fall season. Stumptown struggled to score goals a little bit. Their first game, a 3-1 loss to Chattanooga, and then a 1-0 loss to Chicago House AC. Newell was looking out in front as the Stars now attack the right goal. Newell with a single goal so far this year. Same is true for Leon Marich. Marich, the new addition to this fall roster. Not a whole lot of changes for the Stars team. A couple guys out and injured. One of them a big piece in James Abraham, sitting on the bench here today in street clothes. He has not played a game so far here in this fall slate that runs 3 contests deep now. Garcia Sosa gets a piece of that one, gave it off, got it back. Just 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of that first half of play. Things moving quite flowingly. Had the hydration break with about 15 minutes left at the 30-minute mark. Be surprised if we see another one here in this second half. Rumbling down is Reese Williams as the Stars commit another foul. They're 6th here tonight. 4:51 Eastern Time here in Metro Detroit. The sun has really been a factor the whole warm-up and all throughout this game here today. A bit of cloud cover, but even then, still making its way through. And on this turf that Romeo High School and Barnabo Field is here, certainly feels 5 to 10 degrees warmer, I'm sure. The Stars to throw it in. There were no corner kicks in that first half of play. No yellows, no reds. And all the shots have come off the goal thus far. 2 aside for these two teams. Stars man down. They have yet to make a substitution. Either team has kept all their original bodies in. The Stars here in 2021 haven't really carried that deep of a bench. Waleed Sharif, a guy who could see some time, though. Bryant Nardizzi has played a few minutes so far in this fall slate. Robert Uchai as well. There's a circling ball up to Kyle Newell. Bodied off the play a bit. Caused him to lose it. Stripling favors it back. There is a light breeze still blowing kind of right to left across the field. Stars moving opposite of that now. Ward. And falling hard. There's another Stars player here, and they're going to have to attend to him. I say Alex Frank. They will chuck this one back in. Tug of the hand there as Chunga tries to get loose. He was pretty active in that first half offensively. Reese Williams was right up there as well. Travis Ward had his moments. Amu Mensah jamming this way all the way. This one all the way to the far side of the field here. Chipped off the foot of Frank, and here they come now. Ward looking to push the tempo. Tucks it for Kurtz. Kept it in on that far sideline. Kurtz surveying his option. Pops it back to the center here. And off the noggin of Baharno Navia there. Nembard and company will reset. How the first half started, it was really all Stumptown in terms of possession. That leveled off, and the Stars even getting their fair share of opportunities and hold of the football going forward. And a yellow is presented here. It's our first booking of the day as Yunchai takes a major tumble. Favoring his right leg here. Chunga to discuss the yellow here. Oh, check that. Not Yunchai. It's 7 compared to 27. Leon Marich, who was the man down there. So a set piece again for the Stars. Alex Frank surrounds the ball here. There's Amu Mensah. Over to Yunchai, speeding his way into the box here. And countered out of play as two blue jerseys fouled him all the way down. And believe it or not, this is going to be your first corner kick of the contest for either side. The man that made it happen will take it. Kyle Newell right in front of the mass of humanity in front of the goal. So is one of the taller players out there in Marich. And that one filters high through the football goalpost and out of play. Kevin Gonzalez wants to settle it down. Looks like he was trying to force the tempo there at first, but he lets everybody relax and spread forward. So we've seen our first yellow, our first corner, and so far, not all too much surmounting from it. Really one good opportunity aside when you look at things. These teams have had a chance to really break forward and get a few more, but haven't been able to finish off the effort thus far. Newell shoved down. And that, as you guessed, will stay with the Stars here. Ward with the two-handed shove that time. A number of members on this Stumptown team at one time played for the Stars, so something to think about. Mass overload of bodies on the left side of the 18 here. Frank pokes back, popped up off the hands of Gonzalez. And now they'll linger. Amu Mensah back out in front. Oh my goodness, chiseled over the post and out of play. Crashing that head in was Joseph Adu. right there to try to get a skipper in on goal. Yunchai was also in the area for the Stars, but in the end, it's a sigh of relief for Stumptown here. Gonzalez with a pump down the middle of the field here. Ooh, Newell trying to take advantage of that, but had some free space in front of him. Merkruva keeps it in play. Might have to dash back here as Stumptown gets a piece. Stripling had a chance, couldn't hold on. Yunchai fluttering his way through. And another corner, the second on 2 drives by Stephen Yunchai here today. In a matter of about 5 minutes of game action as well. Once again, Newell and Merritt, your 2 forwards here in this contest. Being bodied up out in front. Merritt's kind of bear-hugged out there. And the corner comes short. Chunga looking behind him. We'll see it fly out of play and stay with Stumptown AC. We'll put a new ball in play here in the 58th minute of action. So glad you could tune in on your Saturday. Jeremy Otto to bring you the call. Newell. Off for Garcia Sosa. Pounded by Apamsa. But Yunchai looking to spin his way into the 18. No luck. Great job by Reese Williams to block him out over there. Ward shoulders it behind. They go over the top. They'd love to do that here today. Been offside more often than not. Here, play continues. Kurtz straight down the 18. Miscommunication there as Ward goes for it. Just skies in the air, and the Stars are able to relieve some pressure and then some. Missed opportunity for Stumptown AC, spreading forward right to left there. Here's Ward flanking the left side. Some physical play there. They let him play on. Ward pounds it off for Nembard. And again, maybe a case of a guy going right when he should have went left, and Garcia Sosa will watch that fly to the left of the end line there. All the shots off target to this point, still 3-2. The Stars lead it there. They've buried 2 corner kicks compared to none for Stumptown so far. Fouls are 6-5. Stumptown. At one point, that was very imbalanced, like 4-1 Stars in that first half early on. See a few tuning up just to the right of the back of the goal here for Stumptown. Stars getting some guys loose as well. With this hot weather, not going to be a surprise if you see some substitutions going forward. Guys running out of gas a bit. And that pass floats behind Newell, adjusts. Stumptown gets a piece, trying to keep play alive was Ward. And chopped it back out towards Merkruva, who comes out and will bull it and keep it going. Here's Chabot. Off for Newell once again. Newell splits a pair. Newell losing some tape on that left hand as he tumbles free and hits the deck. Frustrated upon what was a hard hit as well for him. Newell has that left hand taped up. Still rolling on the turf, 30 yards out from his own attacking goal here. Dropping like flies here in the second half. Newell gets up, still with that tape kind of dangling from his hand. Wipes off his face as well. It's been a tough half, plus some. Newell's actually going to jog to the near sideline and discard that tape and some sort of bracelet, it looks like, as well. So he plays on, as does the rest of the Stars team. They have Adu, Yunshine, Newell, Suhetsky, Satrustri, Chalbeau, Frank, Snyder. Wheels it on back again to Suhetsky. Lost handle on that as Williams gave it back again. Snyder was in the area. Turnovers galore, and here comes Stumptown looking to force the issue. Been a while since we've seen this from them. Chunga been active today around the goal. Calling for it deep is Travis Ward. He's not going to receive it. Now it tries to filter to him outside of the 18. Didn't work out the way they thought, though. Navia looking for Kurtz, too far, and the Stars will gain it back. Be curious to see who comes out for Tran here as he gets ready to enter now. And it is, in fact, Satrustri who will check his way out.
Number 20, Translators, checks in for Alex Satrustri.
So see if Tran makes an impact on this game. Another new body to this roster here in the fall season. We've yet to see a Stumptown substitution. There's some pondering on the bench, though, as two guys look like they're about ready to come in. A little bit of a deeper bench for them coming into play here today. As Groover will watch that one bend out of play. Yes, they do rip off those pennies here. It's going to be Jared Odenbeck and Anthony Legrand who are going to check in at the next stoppage here. For now, Stumptown trying to figure out how they can generate some more offense. That is not the way to do it, though, as Frankie Martinez sees it roll out. You can kind of see the fatigue starting to set in for both of these two teams in a hot and muggy day on the pitch. So those two in. Chunga, who's had a spirited effort in this first half, along with Colin Stripling, are out. Adu rolls it on off for Amu Mensah here.
Jared Odenbeck checks in for Stumptown.
Play has really leveled off over the last couple minutes here. Stars were making some good runs. Can they fight that back here? Frank off again for Newell. Curves it down Broadway over the head of Yunchai. And again, Gonzalez will stop it and make sure nothing happens after that. Here's Odenbeck with his first touch. Zigzags its way into the track here at Romeo High School, and the 68th minute of action, the Stars will chuck it in. Suhetsky, or check that, it's Chalbeau has his jersey tugged. They play on. Newell bends it down the middle, looking to make his mark right away is Tron, speeding his way on the heart of the 18, but didn't get a chance at a touch there. Odenbeck blows the tire. Tron quickly took advantage of that here. Frank back for Newell. Looking for the sidewinding opportunity from Yunchai. And here comes Garcia Sosa. Reese Williams charging his way in with some help on his left and right, trying to tuck it off for Garcia Sosa. He was tightly contested there by Amu Mensah. And now we have our first corner for Stumptown, 2-1. The tallies in terms of that today. Did not have a single corner in that first half. Coaching staff barking out orders here in the midst of things. They trickle it just in front. That's Travis Ward. Will eventually lose it. Not exactly maybe what they were looking to do here. Pancha to Odenbeck. Offside again. Boy, that's number 5 or 6. I've lost count in this game. Quite a few in that first half. A string of really 3 in the last 10, 15 minutes of half number 1. Now, we told you before, a full slate of other games going on around NISA, kicking off in a couple hours, 7:30 Eastern Time. It's Detroit City FC hosting 1904 FC, who checking into today has the most points in the table, 2-0-0. DCFC at 1-1-1, or 1-1, I beg your pardon. Chattanooga FC takes on the Maryland Bobcats as well at 7:30. As that pounds off the side of the goal. It's Chicago House AC hosting New Amsterdam in Chicago. LA Force taking on the Cali United Strikers as well. Fouls in this game, 7-6. Slightly in favor of the Michigan Stars thus far. Play has been pretty dead even all throughout this second half. Not a lot of stoppages either. Kind of mirroring what we saw in half number 1. Just a couple minutes of stoppage time was added. Ward with a run. Met immediately on that end line, making it a bit tough here. They do churn one to the left side. Newell connecting for that one down the field here. Off for a cutting Maric. Off for Kyle once again. Some free space on that side. Apancha getting in front of Steve Yunshai, and they've made it pretty tough for Yunshai to make anything happen so far here today. Has not recorded a tally this season. No assists, no goals. Has played every minute of action out there for the Michigan Stars thus far. And that's been the case for this whole starting lineup with the exception of Cyrus Tran, who checked in about 10 minutes ago in game action. Navia takes a tumble. Boy, have we seen a lot of guys hit the turf here in the second half. Prolonged stoppages for them. Still down behind the play is Navia here. See if that comes back to bite him. Newell along the right side, out in front and headed out. Some oohs and ahs in the crowd below us as Apancha takes it out of the danger zone. But yet another corner coming, their third of the half already. Yunshai, 23-year-old, with a big kick here. Tron and March the closest to the goal in this situation, with Newell on the right side as well. Rob Underwood with a bunch of directions for his defense here. And a quick substitution for the Stars. It's Waleed Sharif, who's played exactly 34 minutes in one contest so far this year. Will check his way in. Kick out in front. And Amu Mensah again was trying to get ahead on it. He had a pretty decent opportunity before. Popped over the top. Nobody for the Stars there as they will play it back. It was Alex Frank who came out on that substitution for Sharif. Frank with a assist and a few shots through action so far. .5'10", 165-pound forward, or midfielder, beg your pardon, for the Stars. Oh, well, anything crack in terms of goals here in this game. Stars foul. We'll keep it with Stumptown. Moving right to left here in the second half of action. Odenbeck, who's been one of the two subs in this second half for Rob Underwood's team. Lurking here on the near side is Maric. Couldn't gain it back. He'll press again. Nemhard to Odenbeck once again. Tron putting on some back pressure there. And now under the gun is Gonzalez as he answers correctly to midfield there. Williams straight down the middle looking for Legren there. No luck as Mukruva, as he always is, the top of the 18, aggressive. He's made some solid plays here today. Really hasn't been challenged all too much in the goal, though. There's been no shots on target by either of these two teams today. 3-2 the tally in favor of the Stars thus far, off the goal. Mukruva. Another body flying down for the Stars. Travis Ward takes advantage. Legrand looking for an avenue here. Picking his pocket, Tron. And everybody pointing left and right. The establishment is its Stars ball to the right. And they're going to let him drink some water once again. Here's time winds down in the second half. Hot and muggy day in Romeo, Michigan. 84 degrees at game time. Not a whole lot of wind to speak of that matters and affects the temperature, at least. Well, this is a big game for both of these teams, currently sitting at the bottom with 0 points, 0-2. The Maryland Bobcats sitting at 0-1-1. They have a single point, so they're above them. But still a lot to be had in an 18-game slate here in the fall. 9 home, 9 road. For Stumptown, their second road contest, and this is the second home contest for the Michigan Stars. They will head on the road to New Amsterdam on the 28th of August, Hofstra Stadium, 8 p.m. Eastern kick in that one over in New York. Then off to Stumptown as well on September 1st, back here at home for 2 in a row versus Chicago House AC on September 4th. And 1904 FC on the 12th. So if 1904 continues to be the class of the league in terms of the points and the table, it could be an intriguing game for the Stars if they can get rolling. Stars will not play their in-state rival until October 9th. Detroit City FC will be the home squad there, and then they'll host Detroit City in the last contest on November 20th. So tail end of the water break here. Everybody's replenished as much as you can be. I tell you what, I thought it was going to be toasty up here in these type of press boxes that don't necessarily have air conditioning, but we got the wind kind of blowing through, the little cross breeze going on, so not too bad. Lucky to be out of the elements today for sure. Although these fans starting to get a little bit more shade from the shadows arching. No shade to be had on this bright green and red field here today, though. Turf. I'm sure it makes it feel a lot hotter than it is on top of the humidity we're receiving here today in Michigan. 81st minute of action, last calling card for these two teams here today. Yunchai off the top of his head. Kevin Gonzalez, right place, right time to take it. And Amu Mensah can't keep that in play. He had Ward kind of breathing down his neck. So in the end, just headed it out of play, and here comes the second corner for Stumptown now. They've leveled the total of the Stars. They had 2 in a row in a matter of 5 minutes here in this second half. Everybody pinching up. The only man to the right of midfield is their keeper, Kevin Gonzalez, and even he is approaching play on the other end. Laser to the left, pinball off the pipe, looking for a second opportunity. They have it loose on the ground for Kurtz. And Mukruva is now down and laboring a bit. There's also a fellow midfielder down. Cyrus Tron, he hops back up. Both of them do under their own power. So that's good to see, and certainly one of the better opportunities of the second half for Stumptown, or the game for that matter. There haven't been many to be had between these two teams. Kyle Newell sees that one curve its way out of play. And another substitution for the visitors here. It's Ishmael Longo, another midfielder, seeing time. Longo is going to bring Bate Kurtz out. He's been very active this afternoon. So a well-deserved rest. 82.5 minutes into the contest here. Longo. Tucked in by Tran here. Newell trying to keep it in play. Tran works the near sideline, sees it roll out, and the Stars again will get a throw. Marich will not take it. It's actually Chalbeau who gets the honors. Gets it on into Marich. Chalbeau bends it to the interior of the 18 there. Yunchai had a chance at it, but Gonzalez instead will filter it across the far side. Out of nowhere, looking to pipe it down the middle, Odenbeck. Ripped off the back. Chalbeau got a subtle piece of that ball. Navi and company keep it though. Buzzing a bit here at the end of this game. Stars have to be alert. Last thing they want to do is give up another late goal. They've already given up 3 in the 85th minute or later so far here in this fall slate. Pinballs to the hands of Legrand as he looks to the far side again for Garcia Sosa. Nothing churning there, and the Stars gain it back. A throw for them with some pressure, though. Ward, Garcia Sosa, Longo, they're all lurking. And the longer you take, the more that's going to be the case here. They do get it in. Stumptown starting to feel a little bit of rhythm, you can tell. Nemhart, really the most sustained pressure we've seen since the opening minutes of this contest for them. Thwarted it through Longo, getting involved and then some here early on, and a foul in big fashion against Stumptown. We've seen one yellow card here today. That was against the visitors here today. The foul's 8-7, favoring the Stars. Here's Newell. Sees that go through the 5-hole. Newell spun around and chucked to the turf there. He was inside the 18, but they'll play on. Play going back to the Michigan Stars here. Newell trying to plead his case in between possessions. Juggling it loose on that right side. Waleed Sharif, one of the 2 substitutions in this half for the Stars. Him and Cyrus Tran have made an impact thus far. 4 minutes or so left in regulation time. Probably won't see more than a couple minutes of stoppage time once again. Stars want to finish it off here. Newell back over the top. Sharif got a chest on it. Not enough. Newell again. They've been working hard on this half of the field in the last couple minutes here. Chopped off the side of the foot, but the bounce is won by Stumptown. Mukruva out aggressively. Lasers it on off once again to Marich. And Captain takes it back from him. Sharif. Newell has been playing catch with several fellow Stars players here and keeps his possession right in their attacking half. Chalbeau has been the man to throw it in lately here. And another man down, it looks like, for Stumptown. Maybe cramping here as they're trying to stretch him out. He's up fairly quickly. 87th minute of action here. Tensions are high between these two teams. Chalbo puts up 2 fingers, spots it to the corner. Tron is there, and he can't keep it in. 2 hounding defenders in front of him. 2 different heights as well. One of your taller players on the field and one of your smaller defenders as well. The only man on the left side of the field is Mugruva here, and he's approaching midfield. A hand battle here. Adu all over his man. Scooting by Garcia Sosa, and it pinballs its way back. Here they come. Stumptown has been wheeling and dealing a little bit more on offense lately. Charging it up the field here, Williams. Looking quickly for Ward, flustered that one is going to fly by him. Couple last rushes for these two teams here today. Maybe wouldn't mind a tie, but you've been so neck and neck. You'd love to get a goal here and get your 3 points quickly. Big turnover for the Stars. Garcia Sosa pondering his options. Longo freshly checked onto the field here, and the Stars check it out. Putting his hands in his face is Sharif. Can't believe that he turned over that ball there. Amu Mensah out the top of his head. Here comes Stumptown AC. Devon with a slight push. They play on to the top of the 18. Some juggling there. Ball still loose. Picking it up and launching it wide. LeGrand once again with a decent opportunity as regulation time starts to unwind here. They say it's off the Stars, so corner kick number 3 upcoming here from the near side this time. Both of them have come from the other side of the field here for Stumptown. 2 men will surround it. We'll see whose ball it is. Garcia Sosa would spread out in the end. Pocketing it out in front, and nothing quite there. That ball still in play as it hounds the near corner flag, and the Stars will gain it back. Looking for a little offensive surge here as Mahano will check his way in. He's going to take out Sharif. Mahano has been kind of plagued with injuries over the last year or so, but good to see him get some time. A guy that will come in these type of situations often. 2 minutes of stoppage time. That mirrors exactly what we saw in the first half as well. Punched out of play. The Stars will keep it here as Chalbo looks to work quickly with the time at stake. A lot of communication out there between these two teams. Big points on the line as they try to both sneak out of the bottom cellar of the standings here in NISA. Taken up top, and that one is heading back to the Stars. despite big-time protest and saying, hey, just get down the field here from Stumptown. So Chalbeau is greeted with that. Stumptown wants to bring in a new set of fresh legs here as well. Gruva getting ready to kick this down. Out is Garcia Sosa. In is Robert Hines. The defender for the attacker there.
Robert Hines checks in for Stumptown.
A lot of spin on that one. Mahano in the area. No dice. Is Adu and company. Look to quickly get possession of the ball again. Newell jogging his way to the near corner. Gonzalez in the area. Boy, Newell charging in on him, making sure he makes a perfect pass off to his mate here, and that is the end of the contest. We'll end in a draw. So both teams will get a single point here today, so still kind of tied at the bottom of the table, trying to charge upon the Maryland Bobcats, who also have a single draw so far this season. Maryland going to take on Chattanooga, historically one of the better teams in the league. They're 1-0-1 coming into play today, tied with Chicago House AC. So everybody in action. A lot of games to watch going forward here today, and certainly an intriguing one locally. Detroit City FC taking on 1904 FC at 7:30 Eastern Time at Keyworth Stadium in Hamtramck. That's a 2-0-0 team in favor of 1904 FC. They're at the top, with Detroit City FC kind of shadowing them with 4 points, as they have a draw and a win to their credit thus far. Some of your final stats in this contest here today: a total of 7 shots, technically all of them off of the goal. 4 for Stumptown, 3 for Michigan Stars. Corners were even, 3 apiece. All of those happened in the second half, as these two teams looked to draw a bit more offense as the game went on. 1 yellow card to Stumptown, and the fouls 8-7 in favor of the Michigan Stars. We saw a lot of bodies tumble onto the turf as this game went on, but in the end they will end in a draw on a sticky, hot, and humid day in Metro Detroit. You could see maybe some of these bodies bogged down a bit as the game went on. That's natural, though, as we saw several substitutions late. The Stars looking to bring on Mahano and generate some offense, but in the end, we will end in a 0-0 stalemate here today. We thank you so much for tuning in here on 11. We encourage you to watch the other NISA games around the league here today as well. Have a good night, everybody.